In February 2020, I left every part of my old life behind, moved across the country, and started a new life. Yeah, you can look for work out of state, get a job first and then move, and then just start the new 9 to 5 somewhere else, but that's difficult to do, and that's not the route I took. In each of my vlogs, you can see everything, girl, everything that happened once I left. But what I keep getting asked is, how did you know when you were ready to go for it? How did you decide where to move? How did you afford to do this? How do you meet new friends once you're there? How do I do this? All right, I'm gonna get fully honest here. My family doesn't even know all this, but I'm about to tell you. Oh my gosh, I just got like a really big tickle like right here. Are we good? The way I did this, left my old life and moved away to start a new one, is not gonna be for everybody. But I'll let you know what all my options were, and hopefully you can incorporate some of them into your own path. But you can't do this without risk. I would bet that you're feeling a lot like I used to be. Stuck in a routine where you wake up, go to your 9 to 5, then come home and go to sleep just to do it all again. Never going anywhere else, never being excited about what you're doing or where you live, still living within an hour of where you grew up, not working at a job you love but settling for what you could find where you are. It drained me and I couldn't do it anymore. I always lived in Wisconsin, but I know I'm meant to live by the ocean. I just want to be there all the time, you know? Moana knows. This is Wilmington. This is Wrightsville Beach. I've stared at this every day for the past 2 years, waiting for the day when I could finally take the leap and go and be there. In October last year, I even booked a cheap flight and traveled solo to Florida just to get me near the ocean. I stepped in a hole! I stepped in a hole! Oh my... He's in! I thought that might get it out of my system, but it only confirmed what I already knew. I kind of just got hit with those feels, guys. The like, I cannot go back to Wisconsin kind of feels. The fact that like warm and ocean exists when I'm stuck in Wisconsin for 8 months of winter. Look at this! I once asked myself where I want to live, and I found a place that had everything I was looking for. My priority is to live by the ocean, and I am so done with snow and the small town feel, but didn't exactly want Miami type heat. This town also has such a beach town atmosphere, so Wilmington was a pretty clear choice for me. Every day, I was getting more unhappy where I was. It got to the point where it felt like my old life was suffocating me, and I would absolutely burst if I didn't take this leap. It was like I needed it as much as I needed to breathe. That is how I knew it was time for me to go for it. On New Year's Day, I found the thing that gave me my final push to do it. A rare photography job in Wilmington. Things are happening and I'm making moves. I have to go meet the people. I'm gonna go meet the people at my new job. I've had 2 interviews over the phone with them, and then for the final step, they just want to meet me in person. That trip was the first time I had actually been to this new city that I've dreamed about moving to for years. I have had more fun in these 2 days here than I've probably ever had in Wisconsin. I fell so in love with it, and I knew that's where I was meant to be. So even this huge curveball I was about to be thrown couldn't sway me. When I was on the plane coming back, I got an email from my job prospect. They were gonna talk to one more person, so I guess they aren't yet going to hire me. I had to make a decision. I belong in Wilmington. I belong there. I know what feels right to me, and I'm taking a major leap of faith, and I'm doing it anyway. You freaking bet I quit my job the next day. And 2 weeks later, I packed up my car and moved across the country. It's actually happening, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Let's go! I was taking my life into my own hands.
I'm officially out of Wisconsin. I'm out!
And if you ever have to drive the West Virginia Turnpike,
oh my gosh, I'm about to drive through a freaking mountain!
R.I.P. I'm here. I did it. I'm staying in this Airbnb for a week at least. That's what I have it for. And after that, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow here. When moving to a new place where you don't know where you want to stay permanently, Airbnbs are the cheapest housing alternative you can get. I did have to move around a lot though, whenever my place was booked by someone else, but I found a studio condo I was able to stay in for 3 months. So this is what moving looks like when you're living in temporary housing. It's not a ton of stuff, but just the necessities for everyday life. I'm still at the place by the beach. I don't know what's gonna happen 1 week to the next, so I'm booking this place a week at a time. So I ended up searching for housing constantly, and some other options I found were hostels and short-term sublets. Taking this leap wasn't something I saved up for years before doing it. I saw an opportunity and I took it. I left with less than $10,000 in savings. I sold a bunch of my possessions and got my security deposit back from subletting my apartment. Also, if you don't start a job right away, know your backups. Whether you have a 401k, credit, or loans, any option that you don't have to use, but you'll feel better about knowing you have something if need be. You have to invest in yourself. You have to decide that you are worth the investment. This is your life. It has been a month, and I just heard back about that job. So 2 days ago, I got the email that told me what I already knew. They said they ultimately gave the job to the other person. I could have looked for other full-time jobs right away. I could have gotten some temporary service type jobs. It is a lot easier to get a job where you're moving once you're already there. A lot of companies will just toss out your resume when they see that your address is in a different state. So if that struggle is what's keeping you from moving might actually help you progress in that process. Of course, this is anecdotal. This is not guaranteed. After I moved here only to have my job given to someone else, I took advantage of the situation. I didn't look for work immediately. I decided to invest in myself, go on adventures, and explore my new home.
I've been thinking. I don't move into my new apartment until July 15th, so I'm having to find places to stay until then. So I realized I can live anywhere for the next 2 weeks. So I'm gonna live in the Outer Banks.
I see a lot of people talking online about their fear of being stuck in their day job forever instead of traveling or going on adventures. But when you make a move like this, leaving your old job and home behind, you can take some time for yourself instead of jumping into a new job right away. You know what your bills cost, and traveling by car and staying in Airbnbs costs the same or less than your rent did. So if you have something in savings, living this way is possible. And you can do it alone. Like, I live here. This is where I'm living. After living in Airbnbs for 5 months, I got my beach apartment. Getting an apartment without an income is completely possible. All you need are your last 2 pay stubs, even if they were from months ago, like mine were. They show how much you're capable of making once you're settled. Other things that help are statements from your 401k and your savings account to show your backup funds. I did it. My whole life I've been saying, oh, that's cute, I'll buy that for my beach house. Well, the beach is 2 miles that way. And now? As far as making friends, loneliness has definitely been a factor throughout this because 2 weeks after I moved, the pandemic happened. Hi everybody, welcome to quarantine. This is just wild. This is... The only places I've been going during quarantine are the grocery store, the post office because of my P.O. box, and the laundromat. So I haven't been able to go volunteering like I wanted or join groups or teams like I wanted because I haven't really been able to go be around people. Of course, once the pandemic is over, that'll all change and I'll be able to actually go meet up with people. You do meet new people in your environment naturally. Check out local events happening where you can meet friends that way. You basically just need to say yes to things and put yourself in situations where you'll meet people who match your vibe. And my closest friends from Wisconsin had already moved out of state before I did, like-minded people that we are. So my long-distance friendships didn't change, they just continued. Hug me, brother! But living where I want to live and having the ocean and the beach I can escape to on a moment's notice has overcompensated for anything else. I finally achieved what I have been dreaming of for years. As someone who lived landlocked and freezing in the tundra of the Midwest my whole life, I now live a few minutes from the beach and I can walk out my door and be at the ocean whenever I feel like it. You can't do this without risk. You have to know that you want this for yourself no matter what and let yourself go for it. The only thing standing between me and the life I wanted was fear. I know we're afraid to jump into things when there's too much unknown, but how do you figure out the unknown if you never walk into it? The journey after making the jump and not knowing where you'll land is how you find yourself. And that is what changes your life. If you are committed to the journey and you're willing to invest in yourself, you will never look back. Of course, you have to apply all these factors to your individual circumstance, but in my case, this was the best decision I ever made. I'm still on my journey. I still have friends and finances and life to figure out. If you want to subscribe, you'll see what happens next and how it all plays out. Because living a new life is a journey that never really ends, does it?